want to tell you guys a story. One about golf retail. Now this story begins 13 years ago when I got a job working golf retail. Now at this point in 2005, late 2005, the golf industry was coming off one of the highest highs it had had in a long time. Now this high that I'm referring to is known as the Tiger era, or the Tiger boom, where golf retail saw a massive influx in sales and people flocking to the game because of what Tiger created. But after working in the shop for a couple of years, I noticed that business started to slow down. I had missed that bubble. For 8 or 9 years there, golf retail was very much in a bull market. But much like all bubbles, eventually they have to pop, and this one definitely popped. So in the later 2000s, you actually saw the game, as well with Tiger's career, start to fizzle out a little bit. And what golf retail needed was that next big thing. Now for those of you that have worked in golf retail or played golf for a long period of time, you know that there's these certain events, these certain occurrences that happen in golf that kind of propel the game and the golf retail market forward. So whether it be the introduction of the i2 irons, or whether it be when the hybrid came out, these particular events help generate some buzz around the game, and they kind of pick up the golf retail market and help carry it through that decade. So in late 2009, early 2010, as the dust settled on the Tiger era, everyone started to get a little anxious, wondering what it was going to be that was going to carry golf retail into the next decade. And the answer that we know now, but didn't know at the time, was custom fitting. But please know that I understand that custom fitting isn't new. It's been around since long before my time, but not to the capacity at which it's available today. 20, 30 years ago, when you would go into a shop to get custom fit, it was much different than it is now. They would ask you for your height, your wrist to floor measurement. They might ask you how long you hit a 7-iron. And there weren't even a lot of manufacturers participating in custom fitting. Most of the time you had to contact some third party who worked out of his garage assembling clubs, and you were lucky if you found one that actually knew what he was doing. When I first started working retail in 2005, the golf shop that I worked at did offer custom fitting, and more so than just measuring people's height and wrist to floor measurements. We actually had a Vector Pro launch monitor. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that, but little did we know at the time that this is exactly what golf needed. You see, when people would come into the shop before and they would ask for a new driver, they would hit the new driver alongside their old driver, which would be the same loft, the same flex. They would take it out back and they would hit it, and they wouldn't notice a night and day difference. And it was hard to move product because it seemingly performed the same way year in and year out. Luckily for golf retailers, the launch monitor equipment became better, it became more sophisticated, it became more accurate, and then we had a way to interpret the data to help explain and then pass that down to the consumer and let them know exactly what the numbers meant and what we had to change as club fitters in order to get them maximum performance. As the popularity of custom fitting rose, manufacturers started to make equipment to complement these custom fitting process. So they started to make driver heads that would detach from the shaft, so you could plug new shafts in. That way you would have the equipment on hand, didn't have to set epoxy, didn't have to wait for it to dry before someone could even try a driver. Now that you can unscrew them out of the head, plug them back in, this gave the consumer not only the chance to try different shafts out with different lofts, but then they could walk out of the shop that day with a driver custom built for them. This was huge. So now the customer leaves the shop with his new driver, with his data saying, hey, my old driver went 245 yards in the air, my new driver is going 265 yards in the air, and unfortunately, since we're all conditioned by golf marketing, he thinks, I'm getting 20 more yards because of this new technology, this new equipment, which isn't the case at all, but he goes and tells his friends, hey, I got this new driver, I'm getting 20 more yards. So they rush into the shop to get the same driver, and what they're really getting is a quality custom fit. Give credit where credit is due. Golf marketing did a fantastic job because they knew that a large portion of people had never been custom fit in their lives. So they knew that if they got people in there to test new equipment out, and they stressed the importance of getting that club custom fit, although the custom fitting was doing all the heavy work, it made the club look like the hero. So Now that amount of people that haven't been custom fitted is shrinking every single day, the question that I ask and that I ask you guys is, what's the next big thing? What is going to be the one thing that carries golf retail into the next decade? I don't know. So as I arrive at work, it occurs to me that my boss and general manager have over 72 years in golf retail experience. Let's ask them. This is Tom. He has 30 years in golf retail experience, and to put you on the spot, I just wanted to ask you, if you could name 3 things that changed the face of golf retail, what would they be if you had to choose 3?
Since I started?
Yeah, since you've been in working here.
Well, Metalwoods was the first one. Secondly, I would have to say graphite shafts, oversized cavity back iron, easy to hit, super game improvement irons has been the bulk of most iron sales for the last, 10, 15 years.
This whole video, the premise behind it was I was saying that custom fitting from 2009, 2010 was kind of that surge. People came in and the custom fitting kind of drove the golf retail market. What's the next big surge?
After this?
Yeah.
Where it's going to go from here now is, that's a great question. I have no idea. I don't know. I just have to see what the manufacturers are going to come up with.
So you think it's up to them?
Yeah, it has to be.
Metalwoods. I didn't think about that. That was another big innovation that helped. This is John. He's worked here for 42 years.
42 years.
42 years. If you had to pinpoint 3 things, putting you on the spot, that changed the face of golf retail, what would they be?
Metalwoods.
Metalwoods?
Fitted ping irons. The Tiger Woods effect.
When I first came in, I was at the end of that Tiger boom, and everything kind of started to fizzle out a little bit.
Right.
And then what carried us to this point that we are now, I think had largely to do with custom fitting.
No question.
And how that kind of propelled everyone back into the retail shops for a purpose, for a reason, other than just recreational golf. They had a purpose to come in here to get better golf equipment.
No question about it.
Now, I put you on the spot again. The question is, what's the next big thing?
But right now it's to get more people involved in the game. We all know that the younger crowd is not getting involved in the game of golf. It's up to the manufacturers to come up with their latest and greatest products for that. The technology is getting easier and more affordable, so more people can get fit.
So that might be...
Originally the fitting was maybe more just on the avid golfer, the high-end golfer. But now, with the technology being readily available, everybody could get fit.
You talk about younger generations, and I'm thinking about what younger generations like to do. Is it like into the e-world? Is it like into simulated golf games? Is it like Top Golf? Is it stuff like that?
I mean, those are the kind of things that the younger generation are interested in, i.e. a Top Golf.
Yeah.
Now, will that transcend into them playing more golf as we know it on the golf course, taking 18 holes, spending 4 or 5 hours of your day to do that? How do we get people involved to that degree? Is there a smaller footprint of a Top Golf that might be the next step to get people involved in the game? I don't know.
You see, that to me was interesting. I could sit and listen to those guys talk about the golf industry for hours because they've experienced it. They've been there. They were there when Metalwoods were first introduced. They were there when the i2s were first introduced. They lived through the Tiger boom, the introduction of the hybrid, introduction of custom fitting. They have a full understanding of where the game was and where it is today. Now the question remains, what is in store for golf retail? And neither one of them really had an answer for that. And I have no idea. I don't know where this big change is going to come from. Is it going to be new golf equipment with technology that's going to change the way we play the game? Is it going to be a player that's going to captivate the audience and propel us into 2020? Is it going to be esports? Is some manufacturer going to develop some simulator technology that we can put inside our homes and play golf accurately and affordably and at our own convenience? I don't know. What do you guys think? But really, put your comments down below. I would love to know what your guys' thoughts are. this video as a whole was really based on my opinion, my perception of golf retail from the job that I've been working for the past 13 years. And I just want to get your guys' opinions of what you think is in store for golf retail, because personally, I don't know. I have no idea. And I would love to hear your thoughts of not only how we grow the game, but how we keep this mechanism churning. And whose responsibility is it? Is it the golf retailer's responsibility? Is it the individual's responsibility? Or is it the manufacturer's? Because it seems like a lot of the weight of the success of golf retail is placed on the manufacturer's laps. We depend on them to come up with new equipment, with new buzzwords that allow us to excite our customers and tell them new things about the game that gets them into the shops, buying golf equipment, and then out onto the course to play the game. I don't necessarily think it's 100% up to them. I don't think it's just the manufacturer. I don't think it's just a PGA player. I think a lot of it has to do with us as the individuals and us passing the game and our traditions and everything that we love about golf on to our kids or the younger generations and let them know, hey, this game is more than just going out on the golf course and hitting a ball around a field. There's more to it than that, and this is what we love about it. Fill in the blank. Thanks for watching as always. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thumbs it up, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down in the comments section below, because I do want to know your guys' thoughts and opinions on this, and I'd love to know what you think it will be that will help push this game into the next decade. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you next time.